Jonah sleeps.
Jonah sleeps and smiles and dreams and quakes. And in his dreams, he hears the future.
He hears those things that have passed and those things that are yet to come.
He hears people he has met and people he has not.
He hears the men and the women of the town where he has lived all his life.
A town very much like this one or any other.
But perhaps a few degrees removed from this one, or any other.
A town where sounds
And songs.
and names hold a particular weight
and importance.
Where Jonah lives.
And spends his days repairing the leaky pipes,
and broken contraptions of the world.
making them whole.
And where his wife lives.
And makes him whole.
This is the story of Jonah.
A story in which he leaves and is left.
The story of a journey and a return. And
Jonah
Jonah wakes.
Do you have your gloves? And your tools? Your wrench, it's right here.
Thank you, dear.
And your lunch, your sandwich.
Thank you.
Please don't be late.
I won't. I'll be home by 5.
Good. We should talk. Then.
What about?
You go, you're gonna be late.
Well, now
I shouldn't have said anything.
will it wait?
Yes. It will wait until dinner.
You have a shine to you today.
A shine? Do I?
I thought last night when I got home, I saw you were already asleep and I thought, she has a shine to her tonight.
That's nice.
I love you. Am I forgetting anything?
Your hat. There. You look perfect. A world beater.
What?
Nothing, just the look on your face.
I'm sorry.
No, it's beautiful.
You're beautiful.
Can I tell you now? I think I'd like to tell you now.
You're scaring me a little with this.
There's a little... I'm pregnant. We are.
That's wonderful.
It is.
It's the berries. Ducky, the bee's knees.
You're gonna be late.
I'll stay here forever. I want to see it growing. I don't want to miss a second of it.
Get out of here.
No.
We need the money. The 3 of us. So go.
I'll go, but I'll only be gone a minute.
Jonah goes about his work in the town. There is a music to this town. It is large and steady and full. It is made up of hundreds of little things.
And sometimes those things become broken. Some of them. And Jonah is the man who fixes them.
Jonah!
Mrs. Potter, what seems to be the problem with your window? Have you been slamming it again?
I might have. Once or twice. I just worry. What if it's not closed? I wouldn't want anyone breaking in.
There hasn't been a single recorded case of robbery in this town's history.
But all the more embarrassing to be the first victim. I'd be mortified.
Well, let me see if I can do something about that sticking.
Oh, Jonah, thank you, thank you, thank you.
You're welcome. Mrs. Redmond,
Jonah! I've clogged my drain again.
was it your back?
I just get so carried away. I'm in the shower minding my own business when I notice my shoulder's getting a little hairy. So I start to shave a little bit off, and then that shoulder looks good, but I have to get the other one even. And before I know it, I'm standing in a pile of hair and
Say
water.
less, just let me take a look.
Jonah, thank you so much.
A handshake will suffice.
Oh, Jonah!
Mrs. Tillman, let me guess.
It's my vacuum again.
What's in it this time?
But it's such a wonderful machine, Jonah. I find myself using it for everything.
A rag? A piece of jewelry?
I thought... My poor cat, she's looking a bit dusty.
Oh, Mrs. Tillman!
No! thank goodness. Thank you, Jonah. Thank you so much.
What's its name?
Bartholomew.
Hey, little kitty. Oh, you look much cleaner now, don't you?
I'm so sorry about that.
Just use your common sense next time.
Thank you.
Jonah visits the great town clock. It is the steady and solid underpinning of the town's music. Jonah shines and tightens and tunes it. It is that place where, to Jonah, the world makes the most sense. And it is where he meets with George.
Jonah!
George!
How's the clock today?
Ticking and talking.
She's so beautiful.
Always warms my heart just to hear her.
You've got a shine to you today.
Do I?
Something. Might just be that goofy look on your face. How's that wife of yours?
She's lovely. Wonderful. She's pregnant, in fact.
Jonah! I knew it! I knew there was something! When did you know?
Just this morning.
That's wonderful!
Yes.
Who knows?
You, Jonah.
My sister, a mother. Let me look at you.
I look the same.
No, look here. See the way your hands hum as they rest on your stomach, and see the way your hair falls, just so.
You're making that up.
But isn't it true?
Maybe.
A new child! It's been 3 years, hasn't it? Doc Jim and Mary's little girl Lucy. That's really something. Congratulations!
Thank you.
And if there's anything you need, don't hesitate to reach out and ask.
I'm sure I'll take you up on it.
Do. It's very overwhelming. I can't imagine how you must be feeling right now.
How do you feel?
Excited, worried, and scared.
Sure.
I worry for Jonah. I worry we're not ready.
Who is?
I worry there isn't space in our lives.
Lives have a way of making space for children, I think.
I worry Jonah's too busy for a child.
He'll have you.
I worry I'm not enough. What if I don't know how?
You'll be a wonderful mother. Everyone has always said so.
But what if something goes wrong? What if the child's not right, if it's not healthy?
Don't think that way.
I can't help it.
Then think of this. Think of you and Jonah. You'll face what comes together. You'll rise together and meet the challenges to come.
I believe we will.
Give me one more day in your bright blue Eden. Give me one more night under cloudless skies. I can take your world of pain and Eden. If you take my soul when it comes my time. Give me one more day in your bright blue Eden. Give me one more night under cloudless skies. I can take your world of pain and Eden. If you take my soul when it comes my time. Oh, I believe in the God of mercy. Oh, my soul, I know it's true. And I believe that the starved and thirsty gonna find their peace in the arms of you.
And that name means dove. It is the token and message of peace. Over us all in gentle benediction, if our bitter discords might pass and fade into charity and unison and brotherly love, then would the temple of humanity at last arise, whose foundations are laid in everlasting law, whose walls are rectitude, and over which no roof shall spread save that which spans the universe, the firmament, in which shall gleam a single radiant light, a morning star to usher in a brighter day for a holier, happier,
Amen.
This morning I awoke to find my window open wide. Oh, Lordy mine, Lordy mine, Lordy mine. And on the ledge there sat a mourning dove who'd found his way inside. Oh, Lordy mine, Lordy mine, Lordy mine. Oh, help me now, he cried, for I've lost my own. I'm a dove, without his love, by his side. So I said, birdie, don't you frighten. for there's a God who will provide. Oh, Lordy mine, Lordy mine, Lordy mine. On my walk to give my sermon here, he followed o'er my head. Oh, Lordy mine, Lordy mine, Lordy mine. And though I reassured him how he feared his love was dead, oh, Lordy mine, Lordy mine, Lordy mine. I said, don't you worry about your bird. Here's some wisdom once I heard. If you're crying, you ain't dying, and that's preferred.
Amen.
So wipe those tears out of your eyes and come and hear me preach the word, and keep your faith and heart and hope in the Lordy mine. Well, he listened to my questions with attentive little ears, from the scripture to the benediction prayer. And he hollered, help me, Lord, and fell upon his bended knee, till we all heard something coming through the air.
What was it?
There came 100,000 mourning doves, blocking out the sun. Oh, Lordy mine, Lordy mine, Lordy mine. And they had flown for miles and endless miles to save this lonely one. Oh, Lordy mine, Lordy mine, Lordy mine. And they carried him away toward a happier, brighter day. For our neighbors are the saints our Father gave. So if your life's a downward spiral, or you're sinking in despair, or you think it might be viral and your husband's losing hair, if there's water in your basement or there's cancer in your lungs, don't burn it up. The house next door for their salvation comes.
Oh, Lordy mine.
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 Oh, Lordy, Lordy, Lordy mine.
Oh, 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 Lordy mine. Oh, Lordy, Lordy, Lordy mine.
Oh, ain't it wonderful to realize you've always got a friend? Amen. Amen. Go in peace.
Looks like we'll be getting a new member of the congregation soon.
Any day now.
We can't wait.
Have you settled on a name?
The name, it's so hard. Naming something you've never seen.
How about the house?
Have you prepared a room?
We have. Jonah painted the guest room just last week. It's beautiful. And he made a crib himself. It's something out of a catalog.
I'll bet you're Jonah's something.
You don't have to tell me. I know how lucky I am.
Now.
No, I think all the time to myself. What would I do without you?
The two of you. You're just about the sweetest thing I've ever seen. You'll be wonderful parents.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ruth.
Don't mention it.
Any day now. Isn't that something?
Jonah!
Is this how long it usually takes?
There's no usually with birth. Could be 5 minutes, could be 3 days.
3 days?
That's rare.
But she's doing well. Everything is what you'd call normal.
It is. There have been no signs of complication. It's normal to worry.
But she's so red. She's under such pressure that I'm not sure she won't burst.
I promise you, she's in good hands.
Thank you. I'm sorry.
It'll all work out. Soon enough, we'll be planning playdates. She and Lucy will have a lemonade stand or something. We'll laugh about this.
Sure.
In fact, there's a joke I like to tell. Seems to help in this sort of situation. Would you like to hear it?
Sure, couldn't hurt.
A man phones his wife's doctor and says, "My wife is pregnant and her contractions are only 2 minutes apart." "Is this her first child?" the doctor asks. "No, you fool," says the man. "This is her husband." On the phone, it's the husband, not the child. Not the first child, because...
Oh. Thank you.
Jonah finds himself alone. And he waits.
The doctor comes to speak to him.
Jonah sees the doctor talking. He notices the smallest details on the man's face, but he does not hear the words he says. The doctor leaves.
And Jonah waits. He counts his fingers and his toes. He takes stock of his teeth and tries to lay eyes on his lower back. He is cold and stuffy. There is no comfortable position for his body.
A nurse enters the room carrying Jonah's child.
The nurse hands the baby to Jonah. Jonah takes the child, stares at it.
Jonah!
Is this your boy?
He's beautiful.
Congratulations!
Anyway, I shouldn't have come. It's just that the clock has stopped, and I thought you'd want to know.
Where's Susan?
We are the faithful, we are the failing, you are the merciful. You are the compass, you are the legend, we are the wandering.
I was born once in orchard where blossoms in order by kind and size became apples in autumn with scarlet leaves fallen, a surer prize still you will find. But I can't have known when that fire had blown and laid me in earth.
We are the faithful, we are the knower, you are the lazy, you are the
laid me in earth.
You are the compass, you are the heaven, we are the wandering.
I was born once a lion with a pride that was mine on some distant plain, with as mighty a roar as great Odin that war, and as many again had I slain. But I can't have known from that fearsome throne I was alive.
We are the failing, you are the merciful. You are the compass, You are the legend, we are the wandering, wandering.
Jonah visits Mrs. Potter's home. He tries to listen to her story. How she is quite sure that someone is watching her house at night. How the window just never quite seems to close. But as he works, the words slip by him.
Jonah, how? You didn't have to come. I didn't expect you to. If there's anything I can do, please just ask. Well, anyway, I'm so sorry. Did I say that already? Please just don't worry about it.
Good to see you, Jonah. You look good. I mean, I'm sorry. Very sorry. Anyway, it's okay.
Just forget about the vacuum. Why don't you come stay with me and Ed? We'll help you look after the baby. We'd like to help you if you just say something, anything.
I'm sorry. What?
Jonah examines the clock. He tries to hear it in the same way that he did before. Jonah thinks good thoughts. He tries to tap out the rhythm of the clock.
But nothing sounds right.
Whether my souls be happy or miserable, the companion of angels and saints made perfect around the throne of God, or doomed to weeping and wailing and gnashing of teeth with devils and damned spirits in hell, where the worm never dieth and the fire never will be quenched. This is the momentous inquiry I ought to make. To escape from the wrath to come and secure an inheritance among the saints in light ought to be my great concern. Is it so? Which rules most in my thoughts, this or the next? What am I most anxious about? Am I not often inquiring, what shall I eat, what shall I drink, or wherewithal shall I be clothed? But when did I seriously inquire, what shall I do to be saved? If I have no prevailing concern about my soul, I may be certain my state is bad, and its danger awfully great. Amen.
Amen.
Hello. It's good to see you. Give him your hand. Sit with me. It wasn't his fault. He's a good man, Jonah. It was an accident, an act of God, really.
Jonah, I'm sorry.
Jonah.
Jonah, you have to take your baby, Jonah. He has to go home with you.
I don't know what to do, Ruth.
I'll show you. How to change him, how to hold the bottle, how to keep him warm.
What do I say to him?
That you love him, Jonah. Say anything.
What if he cries?
Hold him, comfort him, rock him back and forth.
What if he doesn't eat?
He'll eat when he's hungry.
What if I think of her?
She'll be there.
But she won't. Not really.
Just outside the corner of your eye.
Jonah has himself a drink. He has another. He tries to fight a man. Tries to fight the lot of them. But the people know who he is, and they give him a wide berth. Jonah drinks himself into a stupor. And in that stupor, he sees a man he does not know. His name is Guppy, and he is a man of the river.
Hughes. Guppy, you said.
That's my name. It's a funny name.
And you're on a ship.
The Golden Eagle, the best ship on the whole length of this river.
And what brings you to our town?
Friend, let's speak later. Another day.
Guppy, I want to tell you a secret. I'm sad.
How would you feel about seeing the world? Just nod your head. Well, if you're ever in Memphis, look me up. We're always in need of good men on the Golden Eagle, and present condition notwithstanding, you seem a good man to me.
If you're sailing on an ocean, I will be the stars to light your way. I will lead you into day if you're walking all alone and there is no one there to help you on. I will wander with you. I will be the light that's in your heart. I will be the light that's in your heart. When you smile and you are joyful, I will see and smile with you along. I will sing with you in song if you're cold in bitter winter. I will be a fire to keep you warm. I will be the one to shelter you from all would do you harm. I will be your shelter from the storm. When you're old and you are weary, I will see your wonder never dies. Though the years have made you wise, when you know your time is ending, I will still be there to lead you home. I will always lead you home.
Jonah!
George! We were dancing, George.
Who was?
It was the same, just heavier.
How long has he been crying?
Crying?
Your son.
I'm not sure.
It's so loud.
I must have... She was here, George, but she left.
Jonah, who left?
Susan.
Jesus, Jonah, have you been drinking?
Drinking? No. A drink.
You're not yourself.
George, God damn it, George, you're not listening.
I'm trying.
Why did this happen?
I don't know. How about this? We'll make a plan for next week. Then you'll know what to do. We'll go to the park. Take your son.
The park?
Like we did when we were kids, when our folks would take us to play.
But I can't see her again. George, I can't take her leaving.
You won't see her, Jonah.
How are you sure?
It wasn't real.
How can you say it wasn't real?
Because she's dead.
I'm sorry. I can't be here anymore.
Jonah? Jonah, you stay right here! Jonah!
Jonah leaves his home, leaves the town, leaves everything. And Jonah travels a great distance. He meets people as he travels along. He meets a young man who is building the most unbelievable things out of engine parts. He meets an old woman who has forgotten how to walk or lost the want to. He meets a woman who has been left a great sum of money by her deceased parents. She does not know what to spend it on, or what even it is all for. She asks Jonah what he would spend it on, and he agrees that it is a difficult question to answer. Jonah continues down the road. He walks for days and months and weeks. Susan is with him from time to time, walking by his side, to his right, but he does not look her way. And presently, he comes upon
Oh my children, hey hey. Oh my children, hey hey. No my children, hey hey hey.
Can I ask you a question?
Hey hey. Can I ask you a question? Hey hey. Can I ask you a question? Hey hey hey.
Does the devil pray?
No no. Does the devil pray? No no. Does the devil pray? Hey hey hey.
Does he pray on weakness?
And he prays on love. And he prays to the one who looks to the Lord above. Yes, he prays on weakness and uncertainty. And he prays on the human doubt that lives in you and me.
Children, my children, this is a beautiful day.
A beautiful day.
A beautiful day and a terrible one. We stand at the precipice,
Leaning and teetering.
teetering and teetering. Can you feel it?
I can feel it.
Turn back to the one true way, the way our life was meant to take, and sprout out before us.
Low and sweeping.
Swollen and fallow is the multitude of hell. Damnation!
Damnation!
Damnation! And we're poised to fall for it.
But wait, there is hope. Hope in my hands and in the hands of our Lord.
Hallelujah.
This wretch, this dog, he is no different than any of you. He does not deserve this healing touch.
What is your name, son?
Clyde, my name is Clyde.
Clyde, come forward, Clyde. Tell us what you've done. Confess for us your sins.
I'm a poor man, sir, and I have stole the shirt.
A thief.
Oh.
And what about thoughts, Clyde? What about unclean thoughts?
Yes, it's true. I've got him. Got him every day. Got him since I was 10 years old. Looked at Miss Fairchild, teaching our class, and felt
a pervert. And yet I tell you that he too can be saved.
What ails you? What malady afflicts you?
It's my knee, sir. This knee don't bend. Hasn't for 3 years.
Let me set my hands upon it, boy. Let me cast out these demons which afflict you. There it goes! There it goes! There it goes!
This man is a miracle worker, a true servant of our Lord.
Oh, yes.
Hallelujah indeed. Are there others among us that need saving?
Me! I can't see through my right eye.
You will see with the eyes of the Lord. It's gone.
I'm afraid of men.
Do you fear this one? Do you fear this one? You will fear no more with the courage of the Lord. It's gone.
I can't raise my arms above my head.
You will raise them with the courage of the Lord. It's God.
Do you think you'll get to heaven just by praying on your knees?
I could tell you about 1,000.
Know a million men who thought they'd be relieved, but those pearly gates are heavier than those greasy gates of hell.
So salvation is what you're looking for.
You're gonna need a little bit of help, so step right up, no shame confessing what we all already know.
You're a sinner.
You're a monster, ain't we all been there before? But take heart, friends, I can save you if you give your trust to me.
Along with the small.
But unrefundable administration fee.
Oh yes, the devil's come to get you. I can see him riding hard.
Along with 7 fire-eyed horsemen waiting on you to drop your guard. But I'm offering you protection from your many mortal sins.
So as the horsemen come a-knocking,
You won't let those babies in. Love you sinners and climb aboard this soulful train. Times you are departed, yours is every blemish stain. Come ye losers, for I say God doth love you still.
yes, no matter if you've plundered,
Laundered,
pillaged,
raped, or killed.
What is your name, son?
Jonah,
Jonah. What brings Jonah to us?
I miss my wife.
What sins have you committed?
I ran away.
Ran away. A coward.
A coward.
And even you, I say truly that even you will be saved on this day. Let me strike this fear from you. This demon, I will cast it out. Come over here, and
we will make you whole.
I see great things in your future, Jonah. It's gone.
Congratulations, Jonah.
Congratulations.
I was dreaming that I was sleeping in the heart of a drifting balloon. I was dreaming that its path was set in an orbit round the moon. And I knew the stars by name, and I called, but they never came. And the moon was sullen, for time had covered her in dust. And I awoke with the stars, couldn't feel the beat of my heart. And when I focused my eyes, I could see all the constellations.
If you're sailing on an ocean,
And I awoke with the start, couldn't feel the beat of my heart. And the night was pitch black, their voices speaking in tongues.
I will be the one.
And how could you forget me? And how could you forgive me? I was dreaming that I was sleeping in the back of a rubber-tired hack that was rolling through the autumn hills, bringing me back. And the clouds and the sky dissolved in the blink of an eye, and the heavens shone through in the full light of day. And I awoke with the start, couldn't feel the beat of my heart. And the moon looked down with a shine and smiled with a song.
When you're old and you are weary,
And I awoke with a start. Couldn't find the shape of your heart. And I could see all the stars, but I knew none were connected.
I will lead you home.
And how could you forget me? And how could you forgive me? And how could you forget me? And how could you forgive me? Susan,
He weighs nothing at all. Listen to his little heartbeat. It's a little song, Jonah, just for you and me.
can I hold him?
Not yet, dear. He's too young. He's so small you might lose him.
Look at those ears. I didn't know they made them that small.
And his little toes. He has your eyebrows, I think.
And your mouth. Look at him breathe. It's so peaceful. I'd really love to hold him.
I've told you, dear. You could lose him.
I wouldn't.
Maybe when he's a little older. Maybe when he has a name.
A name? Yes. What do you think? Is he a Richard? Or maybe Thomas? What was that? I can't hear you. Can you hear me?
Of course, dear.
What's my name?
Jonah, dear.
And what's yours?
Susan. You're scaring me, honey.
I'm scared, Susan. I remember this a little differently. What should we name our child? I can't hear you. Can you hear me?
Of course, dear. You have a shine to you today.
A shine. Do I?
You're shining like something out of a book.
It's so good to see you.
We should talk.
We're talking now.
We haven't talked in such a long time.
Let's talk, Susan. Susan, let's go home before anything terrible happens.
Can I tell you now? I think I'd like to tell you now.
Tell me what?
I've seen so many things, Jonah. Wonderful things. I wish I could show you.
I'd love to see.
But when I look this way, I see you, alone.
Alone?
And our child, alone.
Susan!
He's crying, Jonah. Can't you hear it?
Crying?
And that rumbling.
What rumbling?
It's everywhere. It's like something large is coming.
I won't let it have us.
Can you not hear? Jonah, can you not hear? It's all around us. It's almost here.
I don't. I can't. I can't hear a thing.
Jonah wakes and walks and walks. He meets people as he travels along. He meets a shoe salesman who only sells right shoes. He meets an athlete who no longer cares about winning the game. He meets a dog catcher who has taken to breaking into people's homes and releasing their pets into the wild because he now believes that is his purpose in life. Jonah walks until it is hard to even imagine his town's existence, let alone how he might get back. Susan is there, above and amongst the people he meets, but he does not see her. Then, just as it seems he has been walking forever, Jonah hears or feels something deep and joyful.
Let me welcome all your sinners to our Riverside soiree. There's a party that's been raging, going 6 or 7 days. But don't you feel that it's all over? Don't you feel it all left out? 'Cause we got one more night in Memphis, and we're gonna make it count. I learned to love way down in Carolina. I learned to dance way down in New Orleans. I'll take my love out tonight beneath that big fat southern sky. 'Cause I got one more night to live in Tennessee.
Come over here, little vamp.
I'll stay right here.
Come on, give your daddy some cash.
Sorry, baby. Bank's closed. Hey there, partner.
Can I get you something? A drink?
You look like you could really use a drink.
I'm boiled as an owl.
Lotto. Half shot lit up like the Commonwealth.
I guess I'll take something. Not too much.
Too much, son. This is a party.
You ever been to a party before?
Not like this.
I guess there haven't been too many like this.
What's all this for?
Wow, son, haven't you heard? It's the last voyage of the Golden Eagle.
It's old Captain Buck's ship.
Taking one last run down the river before they tie her up.
I didn't know. I'm sorry.
Sorry.
You're funny.
Drink your drink, son. I'm gonna find you a
A
dance.
dance? I don't feel like dancing.
Ariana!
Yeah?
Look at this boy. What do you see?
I see a glass that's not empty.
What else?
He's cute. In a sad sort of way. He looks about one dance from heaven.
Yes.
My thoughts exactly.
Why don't you get him there?
So get up from where you're sitting, pour yourself a line. I can check with our concession, but I think we drunk the time. So if you grab yourself a partner, I bet you're liable to find that if we dance a little closer, boys, well, I don't think she might. I learned to love way down in Carolina. I learned to dance way down in New Orleans. I'll take my love out tonight beneath that big fat southern sky. 'Cause I got one more night to live in Tennessee.
This feels nice.
It does.
I could get used to this.
Well, it's never like this for long. These are the good times.
But look around. These people seem to be in touch with something.
Sure, but this is a party.
Well, I've never seen anything like it.
I get the feeling there's a lot you haven't seen.
That's not true. Name something.
Bet you've never been to a blind tiger. Or looked down the length of a Thompson. Bet you've never found a woman you didn't recognize in your own bed. Or seen the sun come up over the ocean.
That sounds nice.
Which part?
All of it. You're right.
Jethro's,
You're right. There's a lot I haven't seen.
So Jethro's got his hand all the way inside of it, completely stuck. The captain's bellowing, saying how we can see the port, screaming each of the 1,000 things he should be doing now, opposed to this, but he just keeps squirming, reaching further down till suddenly he gets this goofy look on his face like a kid on Christmas, and out his hand pops, covered in all manner of excrement. But sure enough, holding the marble high like it was made of gold, and even the old cap couldn't help but smile.
Guppy!
Huh? Wait, you know each other?
I don't! Well, I'll be damned.
I didn't know you were real.
Well, here I am.
You still looking for men?
We are, right, boys? But I gotta warn ya, we're bound for Cuba. The shipping trade's drying up around these parts. You'd be leaving this country behind.
Well, I've got nothing left for me here.
Say no more. There's only one question. Are you ready to make the water your home?
I don't know. I think I'm afraid.
That has nothing to do with it. If you're willing, the water will have you. She just needs your heart. Don't care much what's in your mind.
I guess I'll take you up on it.
Well then, attaboy! Welcome aboard! A toast to Jonah really couldn't say. I was born with a 6-gun loaded and a list of debts I couldn't pay. But she found me in St. Louis with a rope around my throat. Now I'm a bully boy forever, riding that mighty southbound flow. I learned to love way down in Carolina.
Whoa.
I met the long arm of the law in New Orleans.
Whoa.
I'll spend my first Havana night getting down and dancing in the pale moonlight, 'cause I got one more night to live in Tennessee. I learned to love way down in Carolina. I met the long arm of the law in New Orleans. I'll spend my first Havana night getting down and dancing in the pale moonlight, 'cause I got one more night to live in Tennessee. 'Cause I got one more night to live in Tennessee. Wow!
Ship up those boogers, boys! And Roger the lemon top!
Yes, ma'am!
Man the halyard!
You heard her, boy. I'll put your gods into it. I want to see the shit fly.
An eagle ship, there's no ship better. Blow, boys, blow. Her pops and paddles shine like silver. Blow, my bully boys, blow. Well, how do you know she's an eagle vessel? She's followed closely by the devil. Blow, my bully boys, blow, blow, blow you down. The crooks and the crow and the kings and the crown. Blow, blow, blow you down. The rooks in the nest and the rest is on the ground. Line 'em up! And who do you think's the captain of her? Blow, boys, blow. Why, Buck the Duck's the captain of her. Blow, my bully boys, blow. Why, Buck the Duck, she loves the sailors. Oh, yes, she does, like hell and blazes. Blow, my bully boys, blow, blow, blow you down. The crooks and the crow and the kings and the crown. Blow, blow, blow you down. The rooks in the nest and the rest is on the ground. Get back to work! What do you think they got for dinner? Blow, boys, blow. We'll eat the moon and drink the river. Blow, my bully boys, blow. Now blow, my bullies all together. Blow, my boys, for better weather. Blow, my bully boys, blow, blow, blow you down. The crooks and the crow and the kings and the crown. Blow, blow, blow you down. The rooks in the nest and the rest is on the ground. I was surely born to be the last man, some prominent man. I will be a witness to the downfalls in this mad world's end.
I was only made to last an instant, a moment, a lifetime, forever.
Look here, boys. This is Jonah, and he's one of us now. Give him an eagle welcome. You boys better make sure you take good care of Jonah.
I'll fluff his pillow.
I'll wash his clothes.
There you go.
I'll wear in his shoes.
Yeah.
I'll taste his food.
Hey, no.
You see, you're in good hands here on the Eagle. We're family now. Brothers all. How does that sound?
That sounds wonderful.
Great!
Jonah works like a dog. He learns the ins and outs of the vessel. He learns what a booger is and a lemon top. He learns to clean about near everything. Guppy teaches him all the most important superstitions. Not to bring a cat on board. Not to eat from the right to the left side of your plate. Not to sneak up on a man who's peeing over the side. Don't you dare. And never to look the captain straight in the eye.
Move. Guppy introduces Jonah to the crew. He meets Wriggles, and her wart she keeps like a pet.
He meets Biddy, who has never showered.
He meets Twill and Twang, twins from South Carolina, who can communicate with one another using only blinks.
He meets Tartar, who has a thing about shaking with just a finger and not the whole hand when she meets someone. He becomes friends with all of them. Just the best friends. They play cards and pass drinks and sing to the moon.
So Tartar's face is as red as the sunset, this mad look in her eyes, but just then, out of nowhere, Biddy gives her the biggest, the longest kiss I have ever seen, and I tell you, Jonah, you could have heard a pin drop. They've been inseparable ever since. Ah, Jonah, my boy, you're a true man of the water. Sure as any of us here. This past month, you've taken to it like a duck, like a fish, like you were born to it.
Well, I've had you, and you're a marvelous teacher.
But it's more than that. It feels like you're at home here. I'd swear you never had another home. And there you go with that again.
What?
That look. The same look you get anytime someone gets anywhere near your past.
Gup, I've said, let it be.
And I would, but it's just so clear to everyone. It's clear that it's still eating at you.
Gup.
That's fine, you can shut it off, but if you really want to deal with it, you'll have to come out with it eventually. Else it'll just eat you alive. Ask any man on this ship, you think there's any one of us that doesn't have some titanic sin in their pasts?
Not like this.
Try me, Jonah, because there are murderers on this ship.
Well, I have a boy.
A son?
A son.
How old?
He may be 1 or 2. I'm not sure.
Did you leave your family?
Not a family, a son.
Where's the mother?
Dead, or I'm not sure. I've told you now.
Jonah.
Don't say it.
I won't. But you've said it yourself 1,000 times, I'm sure, and it's true. But either way, the world's still turning. You remember that.
Jonah continues to talk to Guppy, and Guppy shares his story. How he murdered a man in cold blood over a few dollars or some bit of gold. How the captain found him lower than low and brought him back out of some dark place and made him a man.
Jonah feels a bit better at this, but having told his story, he cannot shake the town, or his thoughts of his child, of who might be looking after him.
He sees Ruth playing with his son, and for the first time, he imagines himself in her place, holding his boy, actually touching him.
It destroys him a little, and after some time, he realizes that Guppy is no longer with him, and Jonah stares off into the endless black of night.
You see, isn't this nice? A day at the park like when we were kids.
It is. It's wonderful.
He's so light.
Thank you for holding him.
Sure.
I can take him back now. But I finished with whatever it was I was doing. I can take him back now.
That's all right.
But I'd like to. Need to, really.
Sorry, Jonah, old buddy. He's gone to sleep. You wouldn't want to wake him.
Can I see him? Touch his hair?
That's close enough.
George, God damn it, George, you're not listening.
Jesus, Jonah, have you been drinking?
I just want to see my son, George.
Your son? What's his name, Jonah?
I don't know.
What father doesn't know his own son's name? He's crying, Jonah. It's so loud.
How do I get back?
It's too late.
Can't be.
You've been swallowed up.
Keep him for me. George, will you keep him for me until I can get back?
I'll keep him for you. I'll name him.
Name him? What would you name him? I'm sorry. I can't be here anymore.
Jonah? Jonah, you stay right here.
I've got to go.
A storm's coming. Do you hear it? Do you hear it?
You were screaming.
I'm sorry.
I never heard a man scream like that before.
I'm sorry. It won't happen again.
I came to wake you. There's a storm coming.
Where's the crew?
They're up.
They're at their posts. You feel the storms after a while, and this one feels big. Woke us all up.
Where are we?
The Gulf. Have you ever been in a storm at sea before?
No.
I'm gonna kill Guppy. Keep your feet under you and your head down. Listen to Gupp and me.
Yes, ma'am.
And above all else, stay on the ship. You may see men swept over the sides, leave them. They're gone as far as you're concerned. Understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Good. Then up we go.
Here, boys, it's time. Ain't that lightning there? Feel that one drop. Don't the sky look like mischief?
Draw this swirling.
Look sharp comes the storm.
Here, boys, hold tight. She ain't sunk just yet. She'll hold the night. Rain down daggers in anger.
Fury, hellfire, look sharp comes the storm. We're not afraid, we are not afraid in the deep of the darkest night. Though there be a grave in the coming wave, we will carry the eagle's light. And we mourn the memory born of our mothers and lovers, but comes the storm.
Here, boys, it's time. Keep your spirits high. Breathe in, air's fine. Come on, give me your maelstrom.
Giant monster, it's time comes the storm. I was surely born to be the last man, the finest man. I will be a witness to the world's end, this mad world's end. I was only made to last an instant, a moment, a lifetime, forever. Hold
Forget about them. Leave them. Hold tight.
Jonah, you better hold on.
Stay on the damn ship, kid.
Jonah!
Lord, am I dying? Lord, am I dying alone? Captive by flying, a planet in orbit unknown. But strange as I'm sinking, the moon in you shrinking, all I can think of is home. Lord, am I dying? Lord, am I dying alone? Lord, there's a question, a difficult question, I know. And I'm sure you've been asked it by millions who've wandered before. And I guess there's salvation for the decent and patient. Why does it hurt when we go? Lord, there's a question. Why does it hurt when we go?
Jonah is floating, and his whole life is floating around him. There are pieces of his home, of the town, pieces of the hospital, fans from the revival, and glasses from the party. And then he notices a movement in the floating objects.
There is something large, something astronomical, something hulky and vast. This is death, Jonah thinks. Surely then, this is death. And darkness descends.
Jonah is alone in the vast empty expanse of the whale. It is terrible and silent. He thinks this is it, that this is what life is for him now, meaningless emptiness. And then he thinks,
At least it is silent. Perhaps I cannot die, but it can be silent.
And that is a kind of death. And so he is still. Jonah listens to the silence. There is so much of it, it is intoxicating. He can hear it in a way, almost the way he heard the clock all that long time ago. And just as he thinks to himself,
At least there's silence.
Just then he hears something else.
Jonah?
Susan?
Can you hear me?
Yes. Yes, I can. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Where are we?
It's hard for me to tell. Feels like we're a little bit of everywhere.
You look beautiful.
I need you to listen.
But I'm tired, Susan. So tired.
I know.
And I always thought that if I were tired that that I'd lean on you.
I'm sorry.
I just don't know what to do.
I need you to listen now.
There's nothing to hear.
Put your ear down. Put your ear to the ground. Hear that?
Yes.
It's a little song, just for you and me.
It's beautiful.
It is. And will be, dear, whether I'm there or not.
I'll think of you.
And sometimes you won't. And that'll be okay.
It's just so difficult for me to picture, I guess. The future.
Just open your eyes. Life is everywhere.
I should go home.
You should.
But I don't know the way.
You're headed there now. This thing you're in.
And what about you?
I'd like to stay forever. I want to see it growing. I don't want to miss a second of it.
Then stay.
I'll go. We'll only be gone a minute. Jonah is alone. Again. But this time he is aware that life is there with him, that this thing that he's in, whatever it is, that it's alive. And in some basic way, he knows that it will continue to be alive for quite some time, and that it'll be the same for him. And Jonah sees a life unspooling in front of his eyes.
Once upon a while ago, now I was a child in a town not far away. My heart was sore for that girl next door with the rascal smile in the eye as bright as Christmas Day, and her laugh like ocean spray, that town not far away. I was hung up on the way her hair would frame her face, and the way she said her name and her voice and song in an uninvented key. So I told her ma that I could fix that leak, and I told her pa that I could fix that creek in the back porch there, and the two of them agreed. And I didn't have a clue what to do, but I found if I got it all right, then I gotta stick around. And oh, I couldn't tell you what I thought that I would find when I took off and left that miracle behind. Oh, and I always figured it was mine to reason why, but maybe all that's really mine's to live and die and never know. Well, it must have been 10 years on now, must have been grown by the time I asked that girl to marry me. We went ahead and we saved our bread for a little old house with a porch and a yard and cherry tree. Where I knelt on bended knee, she said she'd marry me. There was sun up in the sky and the ground below, and the seasons changed and the days moved slow, and I can't recall if she ever shed a tear. It must have been pain and it must have been hard, and it rarely lasted and it never scarred, and I can't recall how I managed to get here. But just when you thought that you couldn't want more, and you're sinking to the bottom of the ocean floor, and oh, I couldn't tell you what I thought that I would find when I took off and left that miracle behind. Oh, and I always figured it was mine to reason why, but maybe all that's really mine's to live and die and never know. I have lately been told of brighter days. I have lately been shown that memory fades, only time remains. God, give me time. God, give me time. God, give me time to grow. God, give me time. God, give me time. God, give me time to grow. God, give me time. God, give me time. God, give me time to grow. God, give me time. God, give me time. God, give me time to grow. Oh, ain't it a I can't imagine what 1 second more is worth. I'll never know.
Jonah finds himself before the great town clock. And, well, it's obvious now. Just what needs to be done. He pounds on it or something. Or twists a few gears. Something just painfully simple. And the clock is fixed.
The music of the town comes winding back in, big and beautiful. And in it, Jonah hears the future. He hears the sun laughing. How he will feel in his arms. And he hears the boy's name, pure and simple.
And above it all, he hears one phrase, repeated.
The big and beautiful song is telling him,
Go home, Jonah.
Go home.
And so he does. Could stay in their seats for a moment. Just give me just 1 minute, or maybe more. The cast has some thank yous, so if you could hold on for just 1 second. There's a lot, so there's a lot of people to thank. Okay.
Thank you, Mr. A. Thank you so much.
So, thank you to Mr. A for helping us. Not because he has to, but because he wants to, and because he's a wonderful person.
I would like to give these to Lizzie, who not only is amazing at everything, but she took out her time throughout her day and helped us with the lighting and everything.
We want to thank Kaylia for making everything look really, really beautiful and to make sure that we were safe and dealing with us. Thank you, Kaylia!
Thank you, my sister, for being amazing.
Thank you, Jean.
Thank you, Jean.
Thank you to Ruki for also helping with stage managing and putting her time into us. You're amazing.
All right, and now we would like to say a thank you to our faithful and fearless director for putting up with all of our shenanigans and believing in us time and time again that we can do the best work we can. Thank you so much.
Yeah, Bill! Thank you, Bill!
So, I know we all look great, and that's thank you to everyone else, but we also sound great. That's a thank you to my wonderful dad, who did all of mics, everything, and volunteered his entire last week to helping us. Thank you so much.
have one last thank you, and I might cry. There I go. The last 4 years at BUA were a very hard ride, and one person who was my rock through all of it was Dr. A, or Brett. I'm trying. I'm trying to call you that. Good. So, come here. So thank you for being there for 4 years, and for just everything. We have nobody else to thank. You can all go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
No, Here Comes the Storm, I wanted to cough so badly. I couldn't breathe.